Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for being here again tonight. We are happy that you're here. Miss Cleo, and I are very pleased to have you back with us tonight. And so, without further ado, we still got about another 3 minutes before we get started. So, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make sure that everybody can hear us and that we are live. So, Miss Cleo, if you could check I don't know if you can check your social media to see if we can. If not, I can just check myself to see if we are live. Let's see what happened here because we go always gotta check, right? Oh, there we go. Yep, we are live. It says that I am. This is only edit post edit privacy. It's gonna be in. I see why you couldn't. I see why you couldn't share it because it was to myself. It was in a closed group. So now it is open. So we are ready to go. We are live. All right, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Will Baptist, and I am an emotional health coach. I serve single dads and busy husbands to get unstuck from emotional suppression. You know what? I think I'm doing some people a disservice because they're expecting us to go live at 7 o'clock. But here we are. We value people's time. We wanted to make sure that everything works properly, and we wanted to come on a little bit, earlier. So guess what? If they are early, they'll get to see behind the scene before we get started. So before we get started, formally, Miss Cleo, why don't you go ahead and start us with a joke? Because I know that I heard one of your talent is a stand-up comedian. So why don't you start us off with a with a joke before we get people on the live? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
First of all, no, I am not a comedian, but that was a good one though. That was a good one. I don't have any jokes.
All right. Well, if you do not have any jokes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to invent one.
Oh Lord,
Um,
please don't.
uh, oh my God! Thank you for the vote of confidence in me. Okay, well, I won't do it if you don't
No,
want me
no.
to.
Feel comfortable. Go ahead. If you feel comfortable, go right ahead. Don't let me stop you. Go for it.
Now I'm nervous. So you know what? We're not gonna do any jokes tonight. We'll leave that for another time.
Oh my
All
god.
right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Will Baptist, and as I mentioned before earlier, I am an emotional health coach. Now, what do I do as an emotional health coach? I serve single dads and busy husbands to get unstuck from emotional suppression. Now, let me ask you this: do you know someone who suffer from emotional constipation or emotional suppression? Do you know someone that that are emotionally unstable? Do you know someone that can benefit from a coach like myself or Miss Cleo to get them unstuck from that emotional place that they are stuck? What if I could help improve their mental stability by 1% every week? That would be 52% in a year. That's 52% more loving, more peaceful, more productive, more caring. Do you think that they owe that to themselves? Do you think they are worth that investment? If you know someone, if you have a husband, if you have a brother, if you have a son, if you have a friend that could use my service, please let them know and tell them to reach out to me. If it is you, no shame, no guilt, no judgment. Let's book a 30 minutes call and I can help you to start on your emotional liberation journey. And I've got a free gift for you when you book that call. All right? So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo, go ahead and let the people know who you are. By the way, where are you? I'm in Canada, by the way, guys. I'm in Montreal. I'm outside of Montreal. And now we have Miss Cleo is going to introduce herself and let us know where she's at, and how she can help people and what she does. Over to you, Miss Cleo.
Thank you, Will, for passing it over to me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cleo Michael, and yes, I am currently in Jacksonville, Florida. I am an emotional health coach who guides women who are overwhelmed with being emotionally stuck to get unstuck by taking some actionable steps to empowerment without endless hours in therapy. So that's what I do. Thank you.
All right, short and sweet. Let me see if we have anybody in the comments. We have no one yet, so we're gonna go ahead and continue with this conversation here. Now, here's what we're going to talk about tonight. Hopefully, I can bring it up. You know how it is. Sometimes you try to find something and you can't find it in the moment that you need it. That happens all the time. I don't know about you guys, but that seems to happen all the time when you are looking for something and it's not the moment that you can find it. But you know what? Regardless, we are perfectly imperfect. But the goal is tonight is to inform you, or actually, actually, is to transform you, to elevate you into a firm. That's what I call the tea time. All right. So the show is called the Emotional Health uh talk show, and I had this crazy idea that I was gonna do a show, and I called Miss Cleo. I say, "Do you want to hear about my crazy idea?" She said, "Yes." I said, "You don't even know what it is yet, but you say yes." And then here we are. This is um, our third live. The first one was a trial, so this is a first. This is a first official live talk that we are having right now. All right. Now, the title for tonight is Dealing with Stress During the Holidays. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys gonna hear the things that you probably never heard from me before. But you know what? This is a talk show for this to be able to be vulnerable, to be ourselves, to be authentic. Now, dealing with stress during the holidays. Again, hello everyone, and welcome to another engaging episode of Emotional Health Talk Show with Will and Miss Cleo. On today's episode, we are going to discuss how to manage stress during the holidays. So, Miss Cleo, I don't know why I keep saying Miss Cleo, but anyway, you don't correct me, then that's fine. We're gonna go ahead. Miss Cleo, have you ever had to deal with holiday stress, and what was that like?
Well, yes, I have had to deal with holiday stress. Making sure everything is prepared during the holiday, making sure everything goes down well with cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, and also having to deal with making sure everybody's presents get done, organizing, you know, what am I organizing, like the list, prioritizing the list of presents, dealing with family issues. So yes, it is stressful, and then add to that planning stuff for work, doing things at work as well. So yes, I definitely had to deal with holiday stress. What about you?
Well, let's see. What about me? Wow. It's been I'm 43 right now. It's been 31 years that holiday has not been the same for me. Because my grandmother passed away right during the holiday. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, around this time, I think it's today, 31 years ago. Today, my grandmother passed away. So for me, holiday has not been the same. Doesn't have the same meaning. Even as a father, I try to give it meaning because what I have learned is that the holiday is really about a season of having family together. But because I come from a family that we all over the world, we rarely get together, and when we do, it's over a death or maybe a wedding. Those are the two times during the year, or during those are the two times or two occasions that we get together. Other than that, we talk on the phone. stuff like that. So what I find very stressful about this holiday is the expectation, because I'm a man, so I don't have to prepare things like y'all women have to do. I'm a man. I don't prepare things, so to speak, right? When it comes to the house and all that kind of stuff, and I really don't decorate my home because I'm just not. I'm not trying to be a downer, but this is just my reality. I'm not going to pretend that I'm all about this holiday thing. And of course, what I find kind of you know what I find a little bit, why I'm taken back from that is because of the fact that it's been commercialized, too commercialized. The expectation of buying gifts, and why do we have to wait the whole year to buy someone's gift? So anyway, I don't want to go in, but you asked the question, and Will don't have simple answer. I'm always going to take you on a long journey, but I gotta learn. I have to be disciplined because I'm not here alone. You're here too, so we're gonna keep the show going. So if you guys have any, let me see if we have any comments. No, there we go. Oh yeah, great conversation. Yes, I've got Miss David here, Mr. David on the chat. So it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Now, you know that's it for me. That's it for me. So that's the way I look at it. And will that change? I'm not sure, but for now, this is what it is. Are there any are there gender differences for stress during the holidays?
Well, I definitely think you touched on it, and I touched on it as well. There are some gender differences. Like I said, women are more, out here organizing stuff, decorating the trees, and doing stuff to get things together, preparing the meals, and running around getting the groceries, and all of these things. So there is that point where there are gender differences. Sometimes men aren't as involved in the preparation for things for the holidays, and sometimes they are. It just depends. Every family is different. So what I found while researching, there was a couple of ladies who did some research, and they did it through a telephone interview, and they found that women reported the study was done by Anna Greenberg and Jennifer Beck told, sorry, and the women reported experiencing more stress during the holidays than men. And that many people stress during the holidays due to not having income to provide a perfect holiday. People stress due to increased workload during the holidays, and that affects their family time. And then people stress over family conflicts and feuding during family dinners. And women find themselves, um, as I said this already, so that's just repetition. But the last thing I will say is another thing that contributes to holiday stress is people who are grieving a lost one, as you mentioned, was your experience with the holidays. Grieving can be very stressful, dealing with people they lost during the holidays at this time.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for bringing that. I mean, it's funny talking about gender, and here we are, and that's the reason why I wanted to do this with a woman, because I want to get the perspective. But and on top of that, you're all in the field of the helping women on the emotional side, which is perfect. I mean, listen, this is to me a jackpot. Not only you are a woman, but also you're on the field as well. So for me, I could not choose a better person to do this with me. So kudos to me, and I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that. Um, yeah, yeah. You can look at me. You can judge me. That's okay. I don't mind, Miss Cleo. So now,
I just think it's funny, but okay, go ahead.
listen. I mean, once people get to know me, they'll find me kind of funny. Sometimes, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna continue. with our conversation. Now, people are stressed due to increased load. Oh, but yeah, you did mention the increased workload and things of that nature. Now let's talk about from we're just gonna off the cuff. We're gonna talk about the real elephant in the room. What is this holiday really about? Is it about gift? Is it about spending time with with family members? Um, and now we have David says, "Where's the cookies and stuff?" Santa is here. Okay, David. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Can you be for real, David, without bringing some jokes? Now, now we're gonna get into this conversation. I'm a single father. And with my ex-wife, we decided that's what we decided to do. That every year we're going to exchange. So last year I had the kids for the new year, and she had them for Christmas. And this year it's gonna be different. Now I'm gonna have my kids for the Christmas, and then they're gonna go back to the mom for the for the new year. Now I don't decorate my home, and as a matter of fact, I don't like the music. I was working the other day at Starbucks, and that was all that was playing. And I have to tell you, for just a minute, I was in a very depressed state of mind because I'm like, oh my god, this song again. But what I come to find out is it's all about how I perceive things. Doesn't mean the holiday is a bad thing. Doesn't mean that I have to look at it the way people look at it, right? But I feel sometimes I'm being judged for not getting into the groove like everybody else. And I think that's what's most frustrating for me is that everybody expect me to follow the trend. Everybody expect me to just be like everybody else. Um, Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like, okay, man, a holiday is do you think the stress part is the fact that you have to buy something, or you have to go see somebody, or you have to see people that you really don't want to go, you don't want to see? You know, the third cousin. You know what I'm saying? That you only see like once a year, and always. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into everybody's business here, but I want to hear from your perspective. What is it like for you in your home, and what does that represent for you? Yeah, I'm going there. Yep.
Well, first of all, in the Christmas story, there's Santa and there's a Grinch. And if you want to be the Grinch, go ahead and do that. Do you? Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But you said to give you a little joke. So, hey, here it comes. Don't be mad. You asked for it.
Yes,
Um,
I did.
so with that being said, in my family, we absolutely do not view it the way that you do. And of course, everybody's family is different. I don't feel pressured to buy gifts. Um, what is that?
That's for you.
um,
A little
okay,
music for you.
okay, all right. Well, in any event, as I said, we don't have that um experience. The holidays is always a happy time in my house. I mean, we're always happy anyways, but it's even more happier. I enjoy with my kids, especially my little ones, the baby. Putting stuff on a tree and decorating the house. I enjoy, changing the house around and putting festive things up. And also, it's time for us to get together as family, and when my family gets together, it's always fun. We always telling jokes, telling stories of, my siblings and I grew up in totally different Caribbean islands. Their experiences of childhood are completely different than mine because they're so much older than I am. And so it's always good to sit back and hear how it was like for them to grow up and tell different stories about family members that I never met, like my grandfather on my mother's side. So us doing things together as a family, because everybody's so busy at every other time of the year, and we can all get together in one place and see each other. It's fun, we enjoy it. So I say this all to say, it's what you make it. You can choose to make it about You can choose to make it about commercial stuff, or you can just take the time and just see it as, this is a time for me to spend with my family. This is a time to make memories. And yes, you can make memories all throughout the year. But here's another time that was created that we could hang out together. We can do different things. If you don't want to do Christmas, do something else. You know, you don't have to buy gifts if you don't want to. Maybe you can make it about storytelling about Jesus or whatever. How, at the end of the day, you get to develop in your household your own traditions, whatever that you want that to be. And I've talked to many people, and many people have many different traditions of what they do. And I think that as long as we keep the focus on spending time with each other and supporting each other, I think that's what the whole entire concept is about.
All right, so I know you were throwing shade at me. Okay, I know that's what you are doing. Very subtle, but not so subtle. But that's okay. Now listen, but all seriousness, you're right. It's really about what does it represent to you. Like I said, I lost the meaning about 31 years ago, but doesn't mean that people have to feel this way. And I don't want to bring any negativity into the holiday. That's not what I'm doing. But because this is an emotional talk show, and we're being vulnerable, we just sharing our stories. Our stories may it may not be the same as yours, but we just here to share our stories. And I would love for you to chime in. And I see a couple of people that are watching, besides David, that are just being funny in the chat. I would love to hear you, for you guys, how are you dealing with the stress during the holiday? Because we love to learn from you. And if we can bring any type of I wouldn't say solution. If we can ease that stress for you, and ease that burden, and help you to see it from a different point of view, and help you to be able to manage, because that's all it's all about. We cannot stop from being stressed, right? And stress is not always a bad thing, because a lot of time we give it a wrong, a negative connotation about stress. We need stress, and some good stress are some stress are good, but it's when we are being stressed for way too long. When we're constantly in a flight or fight or freeze zone, constantly, as we are running for our lives, so our cortisol stay way too high. At some point, that's when it's gonna create some disease. But there's nothing wrong, having some stress, but as long as it can be managed. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about getting rid of the stress altogether. We are just trying to find a way how we can manage it. And the way I manage it, the way Miss Cleo manage it, and the way you manage it is different. So for me, managing my stress during the holiday is to say, you know what, I'm not going to fall on on that category of, I've got to buy something and I've got to spend money. That's the way I'm going to manage my stress, right? And for other people, they may find it differently. So we just love to hear from you. How are you managing your stress during the holiday? Because let's face it, 90%, or if not even 99% of disease that we have, okay, and that's according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, if I'm pronouncing the name right, Joe Dispenza. 90% of our disease come from stress, and some stress that are really not ours, some burden that we have. So if we can manage stress, we can eliminate, or if not reduce, a lot of disease that we have in our body. Just like our emotions, if we're not expressing our emotions, is going to create disease. So I'm not here to just tell you what to do. I'm simply sharing you. Miss Cleo may tell you what to do, because she's allowed to tell you what to do, but not me. So I'm not here to tell you what to do at all. But we think that it is very appropriate and very apropos during this time of the year to talk about how to manage stress. How many of us, and I love for you guys to chime in on this, how many of you, every time that this holiday comes around, um you get stressed? And for men, now this is just for men, when Valentine's come around, oh my god. So listen, we're gonna talk about this, later on. So I don't want to bring too much into this conversation, but because we're talking about stress, men do get stressed out during that time of the year, when it comes to Valentine's. So anyway, I'm not gonna go there. But as parents, right? we get more stressful because we feel guilty for not being able to give our children something that we didn't have the opportunity to have. And I think that's where guilt, shame, and trauma comes into place because we feel like we ought to give them something that we never had a chance to give. So anyway, I did say that this is a show of two people. This is not a one person, a one man show. So I'm going to bring Miss Cleo into this conversation, and let me know. I mean, is what I'm saying makes sense at all? Help me understand because I definitely want to hear your perspective. What I'm saying, not necessarily agree with me, but I want to hear your perspective when it comes to the holiday. How do you handle it, and how do you manage your stress?
Well, me personally, I don't get stressed during the holidays. Because I just keep it focused on what it needs to be focused on. It's really about spending time with my family and my kids. I don't go, if the kids want something and we can't get it, well then they just can't get it. And then that's the point where you have those conversations with your kids and you help them to understand that, sometimes you'll get things and sometimes you won't. But I'm not going to drive myself crazy because they want a $500 toy that we're not buying. So that I don't get stressed. For me, like I said, Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year, so I don't get stressed because of it. But I can see other people getting stressed because of all the other things that comes along, the extra workload, like we said earlier, at work, running around trying to get everything done, maybe having low income, and again stressing about getting the kids the things that they don't need but that they want. That can be stressful, but for me that's not the case.
Well, guess what? And that's the reason why people are to contact you because you have learned to eliminate, not managing, but eliminate stress, which is, I think, a good, and I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that you are able to do that because not that's a skill. Not everybody is able to manage the stress during the holiday. Um, what would you say the biggest misconception about the holidays, especially around this time? What would you say the biggest misconception? And number one, and number two, someone listening to us right now, what advice would you give them um during the holiday or during this time of the year?
Well, I think one misconception that people could have is that they have to go out and, buy all these gifts. And, as we said, it's a commercialized thing, and that, go put themselves into debt, really. That, over, purchasing these gifts and stuff like that. I think we, as we said earlier, kind of focus on what the holidays is about, is really spending that time with family. So I would say one of the biggest ones is that they feel pressured to, purchase all these gifts, and I have to do it. Not only do I have to get it for my kids, and I got to get my mom a gift, and my dad, and my friends. And by the time you know it, you got 50 people on the list that you got to buy for, and you're going into debt over. um I wouldn't, just spend time with family, be happy to be together, play some games that don't cost money. I think we need to just get back as a society to learning how to engage with each other. Look at what happened during COVID. I mean, everybody was forced into the house. And we had to figure it out. We had to figure out how to get back at the dinner table and eat together. What? Who does that? But yeah, people started back having conversations, and people picked up, skills like, um what's that thing called, sewing. And I mean, people, the rise in entrepreneurship that happened as a result of being indoors and spending time with each other. And then we also had the flip side where people kind of didn't get along when they were spending so much time with each other. But just keep the focus where it needs to be, and I think everything will be okay. Now, to answer your second question, what would I say to people to manage their stress? Well, one of the things I would say is to plan ahead. What you're going to do, have a budget in place, what you're going to spend. Don't run yourself into debt buying gifts. Maybe uh instead of buying gifts for everybody, so it's less costly, do secret Santa, and so then you don't have to buy so many gifts depending on the situation and how many people is in your family. You could do that as an option. The other thing is, learning how to practice some coping skills such as mindfulness, meditation, exercising, getting into the point of, if family drama is an issue, learning how to walk away at the dinner table and not engaging and escalating into the family drama. Other things such as eating healthy, because if you're stressed during the holidays, you're not eating healthy. You're probably eating on the go and eating all unhealthy things. But making sure you have a balanced diet and that you're getting enough rest, and you're checking up on yourself to make sure that you are healthy, making sure you're going to the doctor. You shouldn't wait till the holidays to do that, but just making sure that you stay on top of the things that you need to stay on top of, making sure you take your medicine. If you got high blood pressure, take it. Don't skip it during the holidays, because that's going to cause you problems. So making sure that you stay on top of things that you need to, and then having support, being around people that support you during the holidays, people that you can talk to and say, hey, you know what, I'm going through a rough time right now. um, Asking for help. Sometimes as women, we tend to like to do everything ourselves. I'm going to do all the cooking from the morning all the way till the evening time. Ask for help if you have family members around that can help you. You don't have to um, be in control and oversee everything. You can ask for help from the men, i.e., you. Well, no, I'm just kidding.
But you know
Just
what? Now that's a great way to continue this conversation. You say asking for help. Here's the thing, I've been married once or twice. This is for me. I can only speak for me. For some reason, I love when I'm being asked. There are certain things you shouldn't ask a man, but from time to time, I feel much more important, so to speak, when I'm being asked, "How can you do this for me?" To me, it makes me feel good because if I just do it, I don't know. I don't know. For me, it makes me feel good. That's all I can say. It makes me feel good when my spouse then will ask me, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Um, it shouldn't happen too often, but every once in a while, it make me feel good. Now, here's another thing that I want to say is that too often, this is not a woman versus man. This is not what we're doing here, but too often some women, not all of them, expect the men just to know, expect the men just to offer their help, expect the men just to do certain things. And I think we have a lot of unexpected communication, is what I call it, unexpected communication. And I think it's a problem because I think miscommunication in a relationship or in a marriage, I think it's like the second or the third biggest problem. I think finance is number one, and intimacy is number two. But sometimes intimacy and finance can kind of interchange. Sometimes the finance will come first, or sometimes the intimacy will come first. But the third one is always unexpected communication, and I'm glad that you bring that up because I think it's so important. Um, that we were a team. I'm not always gonna, because you don't have to tell me to go to work. I'm gonna go to work because that's innate as a man being the provider. But there's certain things the men just like kind of take it for granted. Is that right? No. Is this my observation? Absolutely. See, my observation doesn't make it right. It's just what we observe as men, that a lot of times, for me, I just love being asked, and I'm more motivated to be asked to do certain things around the house than if I just do it myself. Like again, there are certain things that I just automatically do. protecting my family, providing for my family, mentally, spiritually. Now I know the responsibility as a husband now because I didn't. Because it's not just providing financially, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, psychologically. All of those things are part of the provision that we need to do. And too often, some men are just content with providing financially and being there and being faithful, which is great. But how many times that we are not fulfilling our duty? And I don't want to go on a tangent here, but listen, this is our show. I feel like I'm asking all the questions, I'm leading on the conversation. I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to let you run the show because you're running the show as much as I do. And I feel like this is like an interview and I don't like it. And I was going to send you a message in the back channel. This is how vulnerable we're going to be here. Okay. I was going to send you a message in the back channel. I'm like, what's going on here? Why are you letting me leading this thing? We're all in it together. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do your thing. And I'm just going to go, sit back and watch you because this is our show. This is not Will's show. Back to you, Miss Cleo.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Um, I actually, while you were talking and expressing your views on the male, what can I say, the male's role in the household, I was interested to ask you, um, so what's wrong with just offering help? With just saying, "Hey, how can I help you?" I was just
Oh,
curious. I was just curious. Does that even factor in into, because we're talking about holiday stress, and if you see your spouse and they're working in the kitchen and preparing what, and you're just chilling, doing something else. I don't know, maybe watching football or something. I don't know, whatever you're doing.
right.
And what's stopping you in terms of saying, hey, do you need some help? How can I help you? Is there anything that you need? Because that's part of communication too, is to go up and say, how can I support you?
Right. Listen, here's the thing. When I would ask that, I rarely ask at the right moment. It's always, oh, I'll do it myself. Now, be honest. A lot of women, a lot of women prefer to do things themselves because they say the best way to do something is to do it yourself. A lot of time we'll offer help, um, and they'll say no out of spite because we should have known better. And sometimes they say, "Well, why are you asking me? Why don't you just do it?" I'm just telling you what I have gone through, right? Why do I have to ask you? Well, I no, I don't need to hear right now. No, I don't want you to touch this. I want you to do something else. Or no, no, it's okay. Sometimes some women will get mad and they will refuse to help because that's the way that they want to respond to let you know that they're mad. But if I keep asking or if I keep offering my help 2 or 3 times, you keep saying no, I'm not offering help anymore. Period. Now, is that right? I don't know. But that's just the way I feel, right? Or I'll do it, but because I don't do it the way you expect me to do it, and because I don't do it the same way you do it, so therefore, you rather do it yourself. So let's not forget about that as well. And then, is this all women that do that? No, absolutely not. But the women that I was married to, both of them, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me that not really that good in the kitchen or that good with getting things done around the house. I mean, I live alone and I do things myself. So what I'm saying is maybe at the time, um, I don't know what it is. It happens in both marriages where I will offer my help and it wasn't good enough. I will say, when I can I do this, and I will do it, and it wouldn't be done the right way, or so on and so forth. So what do you want me to do? So I stop offering my help. When you stop, then all of a sudden, well, now I'm doing everything by myself. It's like, excuse my French, damn you do, damn you don't. I offer it, I don't do it right, you mad. I don't offer it, you mad. So hey, I don't know if any brothers here that are listening right now that have gone through the same thing I've gone through. Please help a brother out because those are the things that I went through in my marriage, and that kind of really left not so good um experience for me. So definitely something that I didn't want to go into. So what do you say about that? And we got Tara in the house. Tara just put go take advantage of her holiday sale. Triple P Masterclass. That's my girl Cleo is in the house. Is doing a big thing. So there we go. There you have it. So giving her flowers. So Tara, thank you for being here. David, I mean, I know that your wife is here. You probably don't want to say much. You don't want to be in a doghouse, but in a serious note, has any other man ever experienced this? That they will offer the help, maybe because they can't do it right, and then when they don't offer the help, and then they get mad, and then now we don't know what to do now. So anyway, go ahead and put it back to you. No, 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 but seriously, do you understand what I'm saying though? Does that make sense?
Yes, I do understand. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. It's a communication issue, and being able for us as people to know when to communicate our needs and wants, when to say that we need help, um, or assistance when we need it, and learning how to speak up and speak up at the right time. You're right. If someone asks you for help, and or ask you if you need help, and you are not wanting to provide, you know the communication to them that you need help and this is how you need it, then of course that would lead to issues. And so, as again, going back to the holiday stress, one way to relieve that stress is learning how to communicate your needs and wants. I think that's very important, and not to communicate it in a way that is negative, but to speak from I statements. I need you, or I would like to have you do this, this, and this. Talk about how you want your partner to assist you. It's important, and be specific, because as you said, people aren't mind readers, right? So if you want something done a certain way, it's up to you to communicate it, and then check to see if they understand what you need them to do. So that's important.
Yes, yes. And I was just checking up. You can't see me. I'm back. I'm back. I am. And I was just checking the comments and and on LinkedIn, and we had, let me see who we had, Dwight Thompson, and just saying how he appreciate that we talking about this, because there's not too many people. I don't like being by myself. I like being on stage with you. I don't know, it makes me nervous.
How about you just keep it like that? And that way you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to forget. You don't have to put one or two. It's just us. See, there you go. Problem solved. Communication.
As I was saying, yeah, David, I don't know. I would love to hear from you, but this has been so far a great conversation, because everything that we say on the show, what we're going to be doing every Sunday night. And by the way, Miss Cleo is the brand behind the topics, behind all the talking points. I'm the one behind the production, so to speak. We both have our strengths and our weaknesses, and we recognize that, and we communicate, so that way we stay in our lane. I sell my land, and I take care of the whole production side, and she's the brand behind it. So if I'm speaking, eloquently, and if we bring in great topics, is because Miss Cleo is the one behind it. So I want to give her flowers. Now we've got Mr. David Jones says communication is key, and then not making it a big deal. Being in a relationship for 13 years, you have to be able to understand each other. Oh boy, yes, sir. You have to be able to understand each other. But you know what I found out? Even after 13 years, we have stages in our lives. We evolve, so to speak, right? So the person that you married, it's not the person that's gonna be in the next 13 years. Thank God it's not the same person, because we're supposed to evolve. So that person may be in a different, may communicate differently. So this is a reason why it's so important, when two people are together, they are evolving, or they are growing at the same pace. Because if one is growing faster than the other, one of us is going, one of us is going to have to catch up. The other one's going to have to slow down. And I think that's so important, the communication where we are in our lives and doing inventory, right? Speaking of inventory, I think this is the time of the year where we ought to do inventory in our lives to see exactly where we are, and even in our relationship, right? 5 years, okay, do we still love each other? Can we check? We good? 10 years, 15 years, or whatever. And I think it's very important. But definitely, David, you're right. By the way, congratulations, 13 years. I've read something today. I kid you not. This is not part of the conversation, but hey, I think we kind of cover everything that we needed to cover in terms of the stress during the holiday. I don't think we want to expound more on that. I was hoping other people would kind of come into the conversation and adding what they stressing about during the holiday. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody that come in, and we've already spoke the thing that we want to speak about. However, I was in church this morning. Um, it's funny. Maybe this is going to be another topic. This is going to be a topic that we're going to discuss later on in another show. It says there is an article that comes out that say every marriage that was done after 1990 had a 67% chance of divorce. After night, so anyone that got married after 1990 has a 67% chance of divorce, and that is crazy. And I think the problem with that, and I'm gonna tell you, this is what I think. Now, this is doesn't mean that's what it is, but this is what I think. I think the problem with that is because there are several reasons for that. Reason number one, I think is we have pride, right? We have the miscommunication that we talked about. We have also people that fell in love for the wrong reason, and people that find themselves unhappy, which I find it absurd because marriage is not about happiness; it's about a purpose. But anyway, I'm not going to get into this conversation here. But going back to what David says about communication. Now, why do we have a problem with communication? We talk a lot. That's the thing. A lot of us are talking, but I think the communication is not the problem. I think it's the miscommunication. Would you say that? Because I think a lot of us are talking now. Maybe some of us are talking too much, like I'm doing right now. But I think it's the miscommunication. Would you say that's the problem? It's not a problem of communication anymore, but it's a problem of miscommunication.
I would say that it could be both. I think that some people don't communicate enough. I think that some people are not good with expressing what their needs and wants are. And then some people are not good listeners either. So you have to be able to say to someone, without judgment, without pointing the finger, what you need to say. And oftentimes, when we're communicating, people are, defensive, and they don't listen, or they interrupt. And so there's a lot of things that are taking place that cause these issues with communication. So it could be miscommunication, but why is the miscommunication taking place? What's happening? What's led to the miscommunication? Sometimes, in my experience, the miscommunication happens because we think we're expressing it clearly, and that's from our perspective, but from the receiving end, it's not as clear. Maybe things are missing, maybe we're not specific enough. So there, as I said, many different things that could be causing that issue. And when you read that information, I don't know if it was a study or something, where they were saying about the percentage of people that would end up in divorce, I would be interested to know, like, why is that? Why is it that 67% of these people are ended up in divorce? Just out of curiosity. But um
I'm
yeah.
glad that you asked that. I found the information. Yeah, it says number one is lack of faith, because marriage, believe it or not, is a spiritual institution. Okay. Now, some people may not believe in that, but that's what it says. Number one is lack of faith. Number two, check this out, the feminist movement. Number three, men emotional suppression. Number four, gender confusion. And number five, pride. Would you like me to repeat that for you?
No,
Yes.
I heard them.
Yeah, what do you say about that?
Well, find it to be quite interesting, but I can see why they highlight some of those issues. I personally have not been married, so I don't want to, speak too much on marriage because I've not been in it. But from observations of people around me and people I've interacted with, I can see where some of those issues could contribute to it.
Right. By the way, that was not part of the study. That was my own thing, and I just put it out there as if the study. No, that was my own opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. I just wanted. I didn't want you to. I was. I was afraid how you going to react to it, and I said this is the study. But no, that's my own opinion. I believe, and wholeheartedly, and I could be wrong. I believe the problem with marriage today, is a lack of faith because people are not committed to the commitment. So that's a lack of faith. The feminist movement, women decide to be in the workforce and they want to be independent. I think that's a problem to a certain extent. And I'm not against women going in the workforce. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the the home aspect, we are missing that because women are the nurturer. I'm just saying. I may get some. Listen, I'm looking at your face right
Yes,
now.
you are, because I'm trying to understand again communication. What do you mean to kind of explain that a little bit further, because it sounds a little bit um offensive. Just to be
Yes. Oh,
honest,
yeah,
it just
absolutely.
sounds
The
a bit
feminists.
offensive. I'm just gonna say it like it is. So when I'm hearing it, and I'm one of those people who speaks with my face
Yes, I
before
can
I
see that.
actually speak. So you might think what you might guess what I'm thinking by my facial expressions, but I just think that there are a number of things that contribute to that, and I think that it's a little bit could be taken offensive by many women, statements like that.
Right, but you know what I've heard from many women? They say that the feminist movement have hurt women more than anything else. Okay, now those are from women that I'm hearing this from. So now, the what is the feminist movement? Is the fact that we want to independent. And I think that's what's killing people. Independence or codependence, I think, is killing both genders, because we're supposed to be interdependent. Okay, so it's this new talk that women have to be independent, but who's going to protect you? If you want to be independent, that's what I don't understand, because men are supposed to protect women at all costs, whether they are married to a man or not, because it takes a man to stop another man from hurting a woman. So if you want to be independent, then you got to be independent across the board, right? No. But I want you to understand. No. I want you to really. I may not be able to articulate what I'm saying, but I want you to get the point behind it. If women want to be independent, then they have to be independent across the board. Why all of a sudden, when you're being attacked, then you're asking where the men are? Where are the men at? Why am I not being protected? Because men and women are not built the same. We are built different. Just like I cannot carry a child because I'm not made for that. Just like a woman, it was created to give birth. We're not gonna dispute that. This is true. This is not will spewing any type of anti-feminism or being misogynistic at all. But what I'm saying is the feminist movement, and I've heard a lot of women have say that it had hurt women more than anything else. And if you look at since the feminist movement has started, we have more women that are single than anything else. So it cannot be a beneficial to women. I'm just saying.
Okay, hold up. I hold up. I have to interject here. I think that some of the things that you're saying are not accurate. Let's just put it that way. They're not accurate. And I think that some women may, as there are many men who have many different views, there are some women that have different views, and the views of some is not the view of all. And so we can't just blatantly say something across the boards when only the people that are speaking that we're listening to are just voicing our own, perspective. Because for every woman who's saying, whoever you spoke to, that's saying that the feminist movement took women back, I can guarantee you there's one or two that are saying that isn't so. So we have to be careful when we make statements and we generalize it to an entire group. Now I will say this: when I speak, I don't speak for all women. That's number one. I speak for Cleo Michael, so I don't speak for the whole entire um gender. But are there some things that are more common with women than that are common behaviors? Yes. Okay, now I completely disagree with a lot of things that you said, and I also think that the point of, women needing their independence, I think it's a good thing. Okay, I think it's okay for a woman to say, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a job and I'm going to support my mate. Maybe he doesn't need to be overstressed. Maybe I'll go out and I'll contribute because of that. Maybe I'll go out and contribute for myself because I want to feel my own worth and I want to feel my own value. Okay? So I don't think that I don't think everything is just mutually exclusive to men have to do this and women have to do that. I think that if you even take it back to the Bible, women were created to complement, right? Or as a helpmate, or something along those lines. So if they choose to, have their own source of income, I don't think that takes away from, the family and the roles and things that they contribute in the household. Because I work, I'm a mother, and I'm still here raising my kids, taking them to school, preparing them dinner, doing homework with them, and I do this all while doing a full-time job. And let me tell you something, okay? And when it comes to protection, yes, it is great to have somebody there to protect you. But guess what? What if you croak tomorrow? Who's gonna protect me? Now I gotta go find somebody else. I mean, let's get real here. Like it's absolutely uh it's a little bit much to say things like that. I think we should really just think about the fact that we are people, and that we all can do things and we all can contribute in society. Men can work,
Yes,
women can work. Okay.
absolutely. And I will stand behind what I said 100, 1000%. And but what I said, I think the feminist movement had hurt women more than anything else. And I'm not going to back down from that. That's just my opinion. We can agree to disagree. But
Thanks.
listen, I've been to, anyway, we can definitely come back and talk about this more, because I think we need to be enlightened, and I think we have to keep an open mind. And I did not, and I wasn't talking, I wasn't putting all women in the same basket, and I did say some women. But what I did say all across the board, if a woman wants their independence, they will have to have their independence all across the board. Not on some area they want their independent to be independent, but other area they need a man. That's all I'm saying. So we're just gonna agree to disagree.
That's fine, but I will say this: there are many women that are out here that are doing all of the things that you just said
But
across.
they're not supposed to. That's my point.
They
They're
are.
not supposed to. That's exactly my point. There's certain things that women were not supposed. Doesn't mean they can't do it. That's not what I'm saying. Doesn't mean they can't do it, but they're not supposed to. As a man, There are certain things and I would not let my women do. That's just me. So maybe that's where the difference is. You can do it. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying there are certain things that when you have a man, that man's supposed to step up and do that for you. It's all I'm saying. So listen, we've got about another 4 minutes left. This has been great, and I did tell people, hey, listen, we don't know how this conversation can go. It can go right, it can go left, or center. It can go any which way. I mean, we do have a topic. We stay within that topic, but at any given time, that topic can. I mean, we're talking about emotional health. We could be just simply talk about emotional intelligence. This is a whole other conversation for another time because I love emotional intelligence and to open up with that. And I did say the other day, I say an emotionally intelligent man don't cheat. And I went on to explain why. I said emotions is energy in motion, and for me, I don't have time to waste, or I cannot afford to waste my energy. So therefore, as an emotional intelligent man as I am now today, I won't cheat, and I can't cheat because that's just too much energy that I have to put. But anyway, I can't cheat. I am a single man. But that being said, we're gonna leave it at that. All right. So listen. This has been a great conversation today, and we have Mr. David Jones and Tara Bush that have been participating, contributing to this conversation. And I know an hour is not enough, but listen, if you guys like what we are saying, what we are talking about, you can agree to disagree, and I'm glad that we are keeping it respectful. And if I ever say anything to Miss Cleo, of course we're gonna talk about it. And because our goal is not to disrespect, we can agree to disagree, but never to disrespect one another, never to be condescending, never to belittle one another, because we're in this together. She's part of me, I'm part of her. And men are part of women, and women are part of men. So this is not a man versus women, but I do love the dynamic because we're both very passionate about this. And sometimes we can let the passion get the best of us. That's when emotional intelligence come into play. We have to know when to control our emotions and not to let it get the best of us. But we will disagree. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of being disagreeing, because there's a whole lot of reasons why. If you guys want us to talk about a certain topic, please do let us know. And I want to thank everyone seriously whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on LinkedIn, or you're on YouTube. Please send us some questions. Please send us some suggestions for topics. Let us know what you like for us to talk about. Well, we'll try to come up with a topic at least for the midweek. So by Wednesday, we like to at least have a topic already. Written down, talk about. So you guys have till Wednesday to let us know, or tonight if you want to let us know how what topic that you want us to talk about. Having said that, now I just want to make sure that those of you that I have just coming on this and
Hello, Will, are you there? Did you knock yourself out? What's going on here? Guess there's some technical difficulties at this point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this show. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Um, and I hope that you got something out of the show today. Most importantly, the importance of communication, being mindful of what we say and how we say it, and the impact that it can have on others, to be sure that we keep the holidays, the true meaning of the holidays, at the forefront, to help us reduce our stress, make sure we plan things, stay within our budget, seek support from others, make sure we're getting enough sleep, rest, taking care of our health, walking, meditating, exercising, um, connecting with our spiritual or religious um, communities to make sure that we continue to maintain our stress level at a normal point. So I am going to go ahead and end the show for now. It has been a pleasure speaking with you all and sharing information with you all this evening. Thank you all and have a blessed evening.